Welcome back. I want to demonstrate this not so common lace cast on that we learned in class. It's a little easier to work it if you're tensioning the yarn in your right hand, a little more awkward if you're tensioning the yarn in your left hand, but I will show both ways. And this cast on is very, very stretchy. It creates a pretty eyelet not row, but eyelets along the cast on edge, and it's not very common, so there you have it, the uncommon or not so common lace cast on. It's in the same family as the cable type cast ons, where you start out with just a slip loop. So I will get my slip loop on the needle here. And I'm just using these double pointed needles because they were handy. You would be using the needles that you intend to use for your entire project, or whichever needles you intend to have for your bottom edge, and switch to whatever you're going to be using later, I suppose. Okay, so I've got my slip loop here, and I'm going to put this needle in my left hand, grab my other needle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a backwards type yarn over. So I'm going to go behind the needle and back and front again. Okay, I'm going to pull down on the edge here so you could see. And then now I'm going to go between this wrap that I just made and the slip loop and go ahead and knit, wrap, and pull up my knit stitch. And this stitch will go back on to the left needle. Now I'm going to repeat. Go behind the needle and back and front, and then go between the wrap that I just made and the last stitch that I put on the needle, and knit up, a stitch, and put this new stitch on the needle, and repeat. Go behind, this is where it gets awkward, behind, and then go between the wrap and the stitch, wrap and pull up a new stitch, and then put this stitch on the needle. Again, go behind the needle, wrap in front, go between the last stitch that I put on the needle and this wrap that I just made, wrap and pull up a new stitch, put the new stitch on the needle, on the left needle. Okay, that's tensioning in the right hand. Tensioning on the left hand, it's the same thing, except I'm wrapping over the top from the back, in front and back to the back again. And this is the problem area. Normally when we tension the yarn in our left hand, the back edge is getting pulled upwards or rolling towards the front. So in this case we're bringing the yarn to the front, so now it's really rolling severely. So what you need to do is employ another finger to push that wrap down, as I'm doing here. Okay, now I can get between the wrap, grab my stitch and pull it up and put it on the needle. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing, yarn forward, roll that down so I can get in there, pull up my stitch. And it is fiddly, especially if you're tensioning the yarn in your left hand, because you have to put the needle in your right hand in order to get this odd, backwards yarn over, and then push everything down to get into it. But if you're tensioning in your right hand, it's a little easier to get in there. And put it on over. So if you're have practice holding the yarn in both hands, you can, as I am doing, go the path of least resistance and cast on with the yarn tensioned in your right hand for this method. But if for whatever reason your right hand does not want to cooperate, it can be done with the yarn in your left hand. There's just that extra step of rolling the knitting down to combat that tendency of the knitting to roll back. And you can see how stretchy this is. And when you are finished and you get to knit into this, each group of they look like little knots, you know, because every action created 2 stitches. The one that you put on the needle plus the yarn over wrap. So you're going to, this cast on method creates 2 stitches for each cast on. Let me just knit across this so you can see what the edge looks like with a little bit of fabric on there. It's 2 stitches. So you can see what it is to knit into it. Okay, so here's what it looks like when you come to it. So you just knit into each stitch. Depending on your pattern, I suppose you could knit both of them together, but I am knitting each one independently. Might not want to decrease right away, I guess. I want to show you what the edge looks like. It's so pretty. Even though this cast on is a little fiddly, it's so pretty and worth it. Just as long as you recognize that the first row of actual stitches are kind of wrapped around each other. You have to separate them. Here we are again. But as in my opinion, it seems to be that anything that involves the word lace and knitting, there might all be some fiddliness or, you know, some awkward maneuverings, but the end result is always so worth it, because when you get to the stretching part, or just when you look at what you've been doing, it's always supremely satisfying, even though the execution of it might have felt like you want to tell yourself, why am I putting myself through this? Let me organize this so you can see what the bottom edge looks like. And you get this edge with these very pretty eyelets on the bottom. Very, very pretty cast on. And extremely stretchy, as you can see. So for lace, that's very positive attribute. But when it's just relaxed, you can see, so pretty, these little eyelets. And that is the not so common lace cast on. Questions or comments? Feel free to post, drop me an email, or find me on Facebook. I'll see you in class.